Crack open my eye. Ooh, it smell like dope. I gotta have it fresh, so I go to the Saints Club.
Yep.
All right, we back in the house, rocking red. It's been a minute. I've been fasting. What you been doing? I've been hungry. Now I'm eating regular, but what you been up to?
Well, let me ask you this. I think I fast. My eating pattern is one of fasting sometimes, and let me tell you how, and tell me if this is fasting. I don't normally eat breakfast, and I don't these days. I don't normally eat lunch. I just go. I drink coffee, and that keeps my energy up. And I've always sort of been that way. I've never been somebody who has to wake up in the morning and eat a breakfast or else I can't make it.
Yeah,
And sometimes lunch gets me tired, so I've just become kind of a coffee freak. So I
yeah.
don't. A lot of times I don't eat till like 6 or 7 at night, and then I eat a shit ton,
Well,
and then I go to bed. So is that fasting if I just eat everything at
it's
night?
it's kind of. I mean, it's fasting because you're not actually eating food, but the whole fasting, what makes it fasting is that your body doesn't get any sugar. So from coffee, caffeine, and all the stuff you put in coffee, you're gonna get sugars, and your body will be able to pull from that for energy. When I'm fasting, it's just water. So you don't got nothing. Your body got to make it starts to rejuvenate your cells. You got to produce glucose from a different place because you don't have nothing to produce it from. So your body it's a little different. And like I said, I do it mostly for religious reasons. Like I didn't lose a pound, like not a pound, me or my wife. And my wife did it all 30 days. But neither one of us lost a pound. It's not even it's more of a body cleansing and a getting your metabolism right. It's really not like a weight loss thing. You really got to fast for like 18 hours if you want weight loss.
Well, I'm gonna. I think I do that on a relative. So I'm not trying to take away from
Yeah,
what you
I
do,
do.
but I think I kind of
I
live my
remember.
life.
Yeah, I do it. When I got days like I work 14-hour day and be like, man, I don't think I ate all day. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's just the way I. That's more just the way I work, and that's just kind of the habit I've had throughout life. And some people, I've heard this, and I don't know if it's true, but if you go back to hunter gatherer days, they say that people that eat like that were generally hunters, and they sort of went out and they made sure everybody had food before they ate. And I don't know if that's true, but I kind of like to think that if it makes me sound cool, uh, but you know what I'm saying? As opposed to
yeah. I
waking up
mean,
in the morning and having to eat a breakfast, you
it
like
do. It makes sense.
the
It
women
makes
told
it
you to
makes
do their
sense.
thing, you go out and go kill whatever.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, when I work like that, like I say, that's I think that's a Texas thing too, because it's if you work outside in Texas, like you eat some food, you just gonna make yourself sick or something, man. Like you're not gonna do something, or you just gonna be sick. You're not gonna get what you want to get accomplished, because if you even get close to itis, it's a wrap in the summertime.
Well, and that's a different thing too, because when I'm actually doing when I have to do physical work outside, like work like a laborer, then
Yeah.
I don't think it would be wise for me to skip lunch. When I have to do that, I know that I'm hungry, like, and I know I don't need to skip lunch because I really need those calories. I guess I just push through, and then
Yeah.
I go crazy at the end of the night, and that's maybe not a great habit. Depends on who you ask, but
Yeah, it's not like I have the best eating habits while I'm fasting. Like I don't even curb my eating habits. Like I say, it's not. It's more of a denial of myself than a health thing. Like there's some health benefits to it. The biggest health benefit I tell anybody is testosterone boost. Your testosterone through the roof. Like as PSK say, morning wood is woody.
yeah. Yeah, and hey, I mean, every now and then you get one these days, but that's not as common as it used to be. So maybe
Yeah,
I
so
will
now
actually
when you
test what
fasting,
you're
it's,
talking about.
super common.
Yeah,
Like
no,
no,
but I definitely
it's like
know.
it's I've taken medicines and be like, man, this medicine a little get you right, but like fasting is like a natural testosterone boost. I don't think really nothing that I've ever take that ever could boost your testosterone fasting than fasting. Like it's a super boost. Like you know the difference. Like once you get back to eating and stuff, you can feel the difference in your body. Like and that's the big thing. That's that's one of the biggest health benefits. Like I say, besides that, it's purely self-denial at that point.
That being said, I have actually I have fasted in the past for days at a time, just
Nice.
to do it, and I think I got some of those benefits. But I definitely, I haven't done it in a few years, but I actually used to do that. And it was, yeah, I'm going to do it again for maybe a week just to see if you're right. I'm going to do it the right way.
Yeah, I mean, I tell everybody, man, like I fast just on Sundays when I'm not fasting for 30 days, just to like give my body that reset and keep it going, so that when I do get to the 30 days, I ain't just like, and it's challenging, and it's not that the day to day, it's just in 30 days, there's a lot of stuff can happen in your life, and you don't realize how much you rely on food and how much you eat out of boredom. Like my wife fasted this year, she didn't realize she get bored, she just go grab something out the kitchen. Just go,
Yeah.
and she realized it now. I was like, yeah, you realize some stuff about yourself when you're fasting. Like you realize, like, man, I really spent a whole bunch of extra money or extra time just eating, and I really don't need to.
Hey, for some people, yesterday would have been a rough day to be some.
Oh, that's why my fast end on 420. It's not coincidental. It's perfectly timed. Like
I'm gonna go crazy.
Yeah, it's close to Ramadan, but perfectly timed. If you ever want to know what my 30 days is, they are the 30 days prior to 420. That 420 will be the last day of fasting. So at 6 o'clock on 420, I am officially off fast because most likely it's going in.
Who would have known that 420 had something to do with Ramadan?
Well, Ramadan stopped probably 2-3 days ago. So it's my timing is it's around Ramadan. It's never like perfectly with Ramadan. I think Ramadan stopped like 3 days ago. Like and I stopped fasting yesterday, so it's like 2-3 days off. It's always 2-3 days. It's around that time. But Ramadan's kind of like Lent. It moves a little bit. It ain't always exact every year. Where 420 is always exact, and I always do it the 30 days prior to 420. So I start on the 21st and go to 420. So,
well, let me say this, and congratulations for that. We spent 5 minutes or so on just joking about that, but congratulations on that, and more importantly, congratulations on all the sermons you did.
Yeah, no, that's the part that's the thing. Like the 30 days of preaching is the better part for me. Like, because I tell people, bro, most people don't go to church 30 times in a year. Most preachers don't even preach 30 sermons in a year. That's the challenging part, to keep it interesting and keep a new sermon, because that's constantly studying over and beyond. Like I don't even I'm in school, but I don't do my classes when I'm doing that, because it's legitly trying to find stuff and then trying to keep it interesting. Like, I'm trying new things and throwing music in there and doing different things, but I don't never want to be dry with it. Like people already don't like church and like religion. If you coming with it dry, it's just like I really don't want to like this. Not only do I not believe, but it's boring too.
Well, and that's one thing. As I didn't even ask you if you wanted to do one of these, because I knew you were pouring out every day.
It's hard. Well, it's not even that. I probably could do one, but I only got one computer for processing video, so I wouldn't be able to process it because I literally have to like record, and then I work off the computer, most of the day. So it's a balance of like I only got one computer that does all that, and I'm working on getting another one for video editing and stuff. But I only have one computer, so I wouldn't have the time to edit and get it up and upload it. When uploads take more of the time than the editing. The editing might take me, 20 minutes to do what I need to do to get it up, but then it's got to mix down. That's another hour. But then the upload, if it's 30, 45 minutes, the upload can take an hour and a half. So the computer's monopolized at that time. I can't do anything else. So that's the only reason why. But like I say, it's the sermons is the part that, like the Ghost and Aliens ones, that was a trip. Like I think that video was like 575, 576. But it was weird though, because I think it was just like people, people are weird, man. And people like ghosts and aliens and that subject matter. But that subject matter was one that just touched. It was probably one of the most viewed sermons, but other sermons were viewed longer, and people, actually went further into the video. That one was a pretty short lived, but it was a lot of views. But it was one of those things like I picked up a few subscribers on it. So it's like anytime people are listening to literally one sermon, somebody's like, man, yeah, I got that one. Bro, that's fire for like a whole 6 months for me.
Well, I started trying to, all right, so I try to listen to yours whenever I can. One, because I enjoy them. Two, even if it wasn't from you, it's all good stuff. And three, it gives me, I feel like I know you pretty well now. We've done like a bunch of these together, and we've talked plenty, and we, besides knowing each other, but not knowing each other on this level till I came to the parking lot over there on Dietz, and we started talking, and then whatever. But so I started listening to that one this afternoon, but I only got about 5 minutes into it, or maybe more. But I noticed you talked about the Heaven's Gate people, and I was interested. I know a bit about that, and I haven't. Once we get off here later, I'm going to listen to the rest of yours. But I enjoyed that. I listened to the one on alcohol that you did the other day, and I listened to the one yesterday that you did on the Mark of the Beast.
Yeah. Those were like,
enjoyed those. I need to go back and see some of your others.
Yeah, those are fun. Like I say, I like to talk about the stuff that other, I literally pride myself on not being the pastor and the preacher your mama and your grandmama took you to see. So I like to talk about, like I say, I preach out of the Bible, the removed books out of the Bible where most preachers won't even touch it. They're like, oh no, I'm not. But me, like I read it, like I read them at like I'm a reader at night before I go to sleep. So I've been reading that, and I started reading it, and man, I was just finding so many good Bible verses. I'm like, why is this not being read? Like, so that was the thing this year, was to incorporate that. So that was another fun thing. I knew I was preaching stuff that people wouldn't know. So that was a cool thing. Like, and like I said, I'm just getting into the books of it. So I'm still reading them and getting deep into them and finding out like who they are and researching like who the people are that wrote them and why they took this book out. And most of them are just took off beefs. Like this church started beefing with this type of culture, and then because they didn't like this culture, they took this out, and it was just like beefs. But really no reason to omit some of the stuff. Some of the stuff's repetitive, like the Bible is in many points. But some of the stuff, like I say, I had a friend that she had been wanting me to preach this sermon, and I never could find the Bible verse to preach it, because if I can't find a Bible verse to back it up, I can't really preach about it. I can talk about it, but I can't. I need something to back it up with Bible principle. And so she wanted the good die young, and she'd been for 3-4 years, and I kept telling her, man, I can't find it. And finally, I was reading in the book of Tobit, Wisdom of Solomon, and I found the Bible verse talking about why good die young. But I was just like, man, it's been 3 years I've been studying trying to find that. And it took me, and like I say, but it was in a book that wasn't in the Bible no more. So that was the cool thing. I say the fasting cool, but the fasting to me, the fasting with the preaching the word and extra prayer and all that, extra reading and studying, that's what it's all about to me. It's a totally get closer to God thing. And it starts my year. Like, I'm good for the year. Now I can go to like twice a week, maybe, or once a week if I'm busy. So, and like I say, it's the slower times of the season. It's about to get popping right now. So now, if I try to do a fast or anything, like my schedule won't. I'm inside and inside. I got a couple business. Both of them will be popping. In the coming months. So it's the slow time for me. So it's the time that, what I'm saying, people. So when you get that downtime, don't waste it. Like just vegging out so much, bro. Like get better. Like learn. Like people ain't learning too much no more. People ain't reading no more, man. Read. Stop like listening to TikTok videos for information and go read a book. Like for real. Like I just don't get it. Like I never did. You could tell me something, and then I'm gonna go find and research that in writing and be like, yeah, that's facts. But I'm not finna take your word for it. It's a subject that, unless you're an expert in the subject, it's a subject that I kind of feel like you might be off on. I'm gonna go research it and be like, nah, that ain't what it is. But some people just, I don't know, they take people's word for it just because they post a video and the video got a bunch of views. All of a sudden it's truth. Like, nah, it's not.
No, and I actually I ended up on a podcast a few weeks ago. It's actually a radio show that goes out live. So I
I
haven't
think I
even
saw
heard.
that. It was a female.
Yeah. How did you
Yeah,
know that?
I thought I saw like I was scrolling through something. And I meant to come back to it. You know how you see something like I'm gonna do something, then you start doing something else. And I saw it, and I was like, yeah, and I meant to come back to it. I forgot what it was. I saw like a female, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go check that out. But I never did get back to it. What was it about?
It's interesting because I don't know if I even put that out there because I don't think I definitely didn't because I didn't know. I still have not heard it because it's I don't know if it's archived or not. But I did it live. It wasn't even me. It was my boy Intelligent Dummy, and I came along. It was 2 Fridays ago. Was it 2 Fridays ago? I came along to support, and then I ended up jumping on the mic, and it's all real radio. Shout out to Whitney Ray. Her show is called Crown Talk, but I didn't expect to be on it, but I jumped on just to talk, and I just had a conversation like we do, and it was actually a lot of fun to do live one-on-one in a studio session with live people. But and I got off on my weird subjects a little bit, and I realized that, like you said, there's a lot that I think people are aware of that's going on in the world that I realize if you're not listening to what I'm listening to, or you may not be aware of it, and you and I can get into. I don't know if we'll have time on this podcast, but get into more of what I'm talking about. But I don't mean that in a bad way. I realize that the certain things need to be spoken about more, and you may not realize certain things are going on without looking for them. And I just bring that back to what you're saying. I've always admired something I've noticed about when you do your sermons is you always do back them up with facts from the Bible. What you like you said, I'm not going to speak about this until I can find passages to back it up, things like that. So that's very important, I think.
Yeah, I mean that's how I live my life. Like my daughter called me for some relationship advice. She broke up with her boyfriend, and I was able to give her advice. But she was like, "It all worked." I was like, "Yeah, of course it worked, because it ain't my advice. It's Bible. It's Bible principles. Yeah. I'm just giving you my hardcore life lessons and all my failed relationships before this, or from the relationship marriages. If you don't learn from failed marriages, bro, you are missing the boat for real." But I learned all that and realized after I actually consulted the Bible why these relationships didn't work, why these marriages didn't work, why they wasn't going nowhere. But had I done that in the beginning, I wouldn't have went through all that. But I'm able to, because like I say, I do marriage counseling. I marry people. I'm constantly counseling people. Like, I don't know if you know, but Cap got married. Yeah.
He's on Facebook as like a wise man. And I don't know.
It's low key. It's low key, but yeah. So I mean, shout out to Cap. Shout out to Cap.
Put the applause in, like a little applause that you do.
Yeah, shout out to Cap and Amber. And Amber. Yeah, really. Like I didn't met her. We done went out to dinner, me and the wife and them, and and we done went out and kick it with them too, and and we didn't have conversations with them when they were, kind of like on the fence on whether they were gonna do this thing. So bro, that's my little brother, bro. Anytime I see him taking leaps and bounds, that is a leap and bound, and I'm proud of my little bro. That's my brother, bro. And like that one is one of those moves. Like it was just not involved, just them two, and they doing it for the right reasons. So that's I always love, bro. So shout out to him, man. Big ups to them, and much blessings to him, bro.
Great man. Like I've said before, I won't do it again, but I always gush about Cap and how he's helped out our company quite a bit and continues to do so. So not everybody will do that. And there's people, I'm going to do it. There's people that we know that could have helped out early on that had the, had the ability to. And when you have somebody who wasn't as close that did it anyway, out of being selfless, we don't. I can't say that enough how grateful we are. So he's always been stand up with us.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I say, it's beyond friends with me and Cap, bro. It's brothers. Like his parents, when I talk to his parents, his mom and dad, straight up, bro. Like Like Nikki's my sister, bro. Don't play with Nikki. I mess around, mess you up, bro. Don't mess with Nikki like that, bro. You get messed up. Like, so it's straight up fam now, bro. It's like I say, when I was at my lowest point, bro, like going through a divorce, first time separated from the kids, crying on Christmas, bro. They were there for me, and like fam since then, bro. Never. And we, if you like political, we don't even talk politics because totally different political sides, but we don't talk politics. We fam, we ain't gotta talk about that.
And it's good to be that way.
Strictly no politics talking. Like the whole family is like that. They got their views, but when it comes to friends and family, nah, you're not gonna mess with their friends and family fun. They about the friends and the family.
Can I say something about that? I was gonna say it about you and I, but I'll use an example of you and Chris because you guys are like real brothers. You grew up together, and like you say, you guys don't discuss that. But I know you know his character and the character of his family, and he knows yours. And you all, I'm sure 100% sure y'all agree on the fundamentals of what's important in life and family and whatnot. So yeah. I would argue that you guys don't disagree on politics. You just may disagree on the people who represent what you, because I believe you and I agree. I think our values are the same when it comes down to it. Probably in most cases, I'm making assumptions, but in talking to you, I think we value the same things. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no. It takes Steven to tell me. Steven, like, bruh, you be talking that Democrat mess, but you low key Republican.
I'm not even saying that.
I was like, why you say that, Steven? He was like, nah, bro, for real though. He was like, he was like, first, like, you're a minister, so you gonna roll with half of the stuff on conservative side just because you're a minister. Like, you gonna come at it from that's their whole thing. I was like, yeah, kind of, but like I say, I get what he's saying, but I'm a chameleon, bro. I can gel with just about anybody. Coming from Mobile, Alabama to Clear Lake, bro, straight culture shock. Like, but I was able to, maneuver it and not totally lose myself and still find because I was a kid, still learning myself, but going through the dark parts and still, coming out on the other side of the light run. It was having those extremes. And then, like I say, moving around almost every summer, like anywhere from Florida to Texas, I done stayed in each state for at least a year. Like at least Georgia, everything in the South, like coming the whole Gulf Coast, I've stayed in every state for at least a year. And like, so I've had to adapt to different cultures. Like I say, when I was in college in Atlanta, I was in speech class and I did a speech on, and I taught people how to talk like in 4 different dialects in the South. Like New Orleans, totally different dialect than Houston. And then you go to Atlanta, which I was in Atlanta then, totally different dialect. You know what I'm saying? It's everything and it's hey baby, hey whoa there, everything's whoa there and baby in New Orleans. Then you go to Atlanta, it's shout there, shout over there, shout, everything shouted. So it's the same thing, but it's totally different. And it's funny because New Orleans and Atlanta, both of them got that. But it's like Houston. They're like the meccas of the South. They have their own swag, but Houston got their own swag. Houston swag is just, you know what I'm saying? It's the whole screw scene and stuff like that. But Houston with the hum. Like the people in Texas that put a hum on the back of everything. Like you going to the store, huh? Oh, that boy just messed up everything, huh?
I always thought that was New Orleans because Juvenile did that song.
It's more of a Texas thing. New Orleans, they got some things. That was more just of a dope song, but it's more of a Texas thing. They put a hum on the internet thing. But and like I say, New Orleans with the cold drink. Some of the cold drink, they literally talking about it like a soda. Like cold drink. But what you call it in Texas? We call it soda water.
Well, here's what I was saying. This is all I was saying is we forget about the labels for a minute because I think Republican and Democrat, what they mean have changed over the years, and they've changed from the time we were in high school till now.
I think it's changing right now.
That's neither here nor there. I'm forget about all that for a minute. What I'm saying is, I think if you take that away, because we didn't talk I didn't talk about that up until very recently, and I was what I would consider a Democrat for almost all of my life until recently.
Yeah.
But I think if we can disagree about what things are called all along. I think our value. I don't know. I can't even say that.
I get what you're saying. Like the
now I'm
values
judging what your values are, but I do think
no, I think it's right. You're right. I mean, I tell my wife all the time, like, I don't care what you say. I'm never gonna hate Republicans. Like, Republicans are older
I'm
white
not even
Republicans.
sure if I can claim Republican right now either, because they disappoint me. The ones who are,
that's why I mean, that's how I feel with Democrats. Like,
yeah,
I would say I'm more. I would say more on the independent side, man. I just can't.
It's always
I can't really rock with nobody 100%, and I'm definitely not just forking you over my vote for no reason, like just because. Like, that's just not it. That's not happening.
So we're fed. I think everybody's fed up and not happy with the situation. Possible. I don't know.
Yeah, you know
I'd
what?
rather stay out of. I'm sorry I haven't brought it to this.
No, it is what it is. That's the other thing that I've been doing while I've been fasting, man. I tapped into my love for poetry, so I'm dropping the poetry album on 4th of July, and that has a lot of subject matter that I would never try to attack in song, because it's spoken word and poetry. And that was fun. Like, I was writing those while I was fasting, so most of the time I was either hungry, sleepy, or just woke up, which is all good times for creative juices, and like they all just kind of spilled out of me. And some of them, like even like musically, how I created them. Like I'm playing, of course, live harmonica on it, live bongos, live bass. Like, it's a lot of live instrumentation on it, but like I had to go there to make the spoken word to fit the mood. And man, like some of the subject matter is just like it's gonna floor the mess out of some people, like, because it takes you on an emotional journey. But it's kind of like what I was going through in the fasting. So when you fast, say people fast sometime, man, and just give your body a time to, like you say, just think sometime. Like, you don't realize, like, you can't think because you ate so many honey buns and steak. Like, you can't even think straight. Like, but what you said about the Republican thing, I think is we either need a third party or we need to just go with popular vote. Like, we got to somehow, the electoral college, it's so many loopholes in America. That's why when people say it's not systematic racism, I'm saying, man, it's systematic BS.
Absolutely. We can agree on that for sure.
Yeah, it's like it's systematic BS. So you gonna tell me it ain't racism in that too? Because some of the stuff just don't even make sense. Like, bro, why would you make it like that? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, how many people we've had win the popular vote, then lose the electoral college, bro? Like, that to me, that's just like, it doesn't make sense. Like,
well, there's arguments for why that was set up, and the reason that was set up that way in the first place is because it made sense with a small population like we had.
With a small population.
Now, it doesn't make sense for having, maybe we had 1 million people in the country at that point or something like that. It was manageable, and things were more defined, places were more defined on what they believe. Everything is so big right now that you can't get a consensus in any city. Well, sometimes you can, but in most cities you can't. Smaller cities, maybe you can, but we have way too many people and way too, I'm sorry to say this. This is not saying that we did anything wrong, but this is what happens when you get to a certain size and you have so much diversity. And I mean that, and we have people that were born here, and we have people from every country in the world that have moved here. And this is, I think, in any time this has happened, it's never happened in history, but at this point in time, you have to look back at the Roman Empire and things like that and see how this is when history is important. And I'm not the biggest scholar on ancient history, but you probably know more than I do.
It's crazy you say that, because actually in one of my poems, I refer to America in that context.
Things don't last the way.
Yeah, it don't. The things that we're doing are just not. It's not feasible that we're gonna make it as the American superpower that we want to stay as and know to be going forward. It's just not. It's not gonna happen, bro.
In just a few years ago, I feel like just a few years ago, it was nobody ever really thought that that would happen. I swear to you, I always thought in my lifetime that we would always be a global power, and I never thought of any or the global power, and I never thought of it ever changing. And very quickly, we're seeing it slip away, and that's
Yeah.
a different story for a different day. And that's why I say I don't know if people are paying attention as much as I
And
am,
see,
but it's scary, man.
I got
It's
two things to ask about that. All right, so do you think, all right, America's been in that predicament before? I mean, the baby boomers. That's why there's such fucking
yes,
rambunctious generation, because they fought back out of that and put America back on top. So they
Yeah.
deserve their roses. That's why they like that. That's why they, you know, she's a whippersnapper. That's because they did some things, bro. They took America from the bottom and put them to the top. Do you think our, now I ain't gonna say our kids, but the generation that's gonna have to deal with them, do you think they're capable?
Okay, that was actually the greatest generation that won World War II, but they had the baby boomers. So slight different
Well,
group.
one
That's our
before, yeah, you're right.
grandparents.
Yeah.
But sorry, what was the second part? Do I think
Do
that
you think the generation that has to happen, because it's not us, it's the generation behind us, it's my kids' age, do you think they're going to be capable of pulling us back up to that now that we're dropping? You think somebody's going to figure it out? Or you
a
think
lot
like,
of them won't? There's a few kids that I see and I talk to that I think are smart and understand this, and I think they have the fight to do it. I think as a whole that there's been a lot of propaganda and things that are weakening these kids, and I don't care who you are. I think we can see it, and it's all has to do with the internet mostly. But there's a lot of stuff going on. I don't know, but I've been saying that for a long time, that these kids are the ones, if anybody, that's going to turn this ship around. And I hope it's possible. I think it's possible. There's a lot against it. I think that an old man like me is going to be out there fighting the war if it were to come to that. But the more that I think about it, I don't think those kind of things are possible the way I thought.
No, not the way we used to think of it, like hand to hand.
We're in a thought warfare. I think there's a lot.
It's a digital thing. I think it's definitely more digital. And yeah, I don't think if anybody comes for America, I think they're gonna attack us with cyber attacks, bro. They're gonna try to shut us down. They're not gonna try to blow us up, because I say this in one of my poems: we are the marketplace now. Not only have we fallen, but we are the suckers. Like, they come to us to get bread. Like, we don't produce nothing. We're not. We got a few rich people, but we are the suckers. Like, they send
it. Gave it all away.
Yes,
we willingly gave this all away,
and now we the suckers. Like,
through our lifetime, we were doing so good in the 80s and 90s, and even before, we were seemingly doing so good, but we were selling ourselves off little by little, and we're doing it at an increased rate now.
I think it was Clinton's administration last time we had surplus.
Like, I don't know the answer to that.
I think it was Clinton's. I think it was Clinton's administration last time we didn't have a deficit.
And I think you may be right. I think I remember hearing that. I don't know for a fact, but
yeah, that's when America was on top, bro. That's when I know he wasn't doing no, getting BJ's and blowing the sacks, but
we were reaping the benefits of selling everything off right then and there. We weren't on top. We were riding an artificial wave, which is about to crash.
Yeah, well, it was. But I mean, I think now this goes to the other question. This is the last question. We got 6 more minutes. This is the other question. I'm hearing a lot of talk about this. With all this with America going on, I hear a lot of talk about Texas becoming their own country again. Do you think it will happen? Do you think it will be an uproar? Try to make it happen. And if it did, do you think it will be a better country than America?
Yes, I think yes, and yes on all of that. So when I started seeing things fall apart, I was always very happy that this is where I am, because I know we're going to be the renegades that we always were. We started as the Republic of Texas. We became part of the U.S. And I think we're the most likely place to go back to that. I don't know if that's a better place, because we have it's a dangerous place right now. It's arguable that being in a lot of places in Texas is more dangerous than being in Mexico. But to answer your question, yes, if there's anybody that's going to break off and try to do their own thing and then start using our own resources again that we've been prohibited from using, start drilling for oil, do all this, it'll be us. And how long we can sustain that, I don't know. But I'm happy to be here when it happens, and I will go with Texas before I stay with the U.S. I'm pretty goddamn sure. I'm sorry.
See, the only thing that I'm worried about Texas was the last one. This is why we got Juneteenth. They were the last one to free slaves.
Yes.
So it's like, I'm riding with you, Texas, but y'all got one black card to mess up.
But you understand
one
how
black
that
card to mess up. Soon as I see anything, look, a noose, anything, but I think it, again, I always say racism is a group thing. You will hardly find, even if a person is a racist, one-on-one, I bet you I can have a good conversation with them. We will find connections and never see the racism. Now you catch them with 5 of their friends, and now it's now they're racist because it's a group thing. I mean, think about all the racist acts in America when they lynched people. It wasn't one person, it was a whole bunch of them. It was mob mentality. So I think racism really, if you culturally, if you catch by themselves, that's why people never think they're racist, because one-on-one you're not. You're not racist, but catch you around the wrong people and you don't say the right thing, and all of a sudden you kind of peer pressure into racism by not saying the right thing or sticking up for people. And as the old saying goes, all it takes for evil to succeed is for a good person not to do nothing.
To do nothing. And I'm glad you said that quote, because that's one that I think personifies a lot of what's going on right now. And yes, you're right about the I mean, that's the best way to leave this conversation, I guess, when you talk about how people will mob up and be racist when there's no consequences, or when, you know, the despicable things people will do overwhelmingly when there's a lot of them and one or two of somebody else.
Yeah, and I think it would be kind of a wave thing, like
trying to rise and be like that. Right now, though, happening in different people's points of views about certain things, you see a lot of mob mentality without maybe the critical thinking that needs to happen behind it to understand if your point of view even makes sense. But once you join a tribe, you're part of that tribe, and we're so tribalized right now.
Well, that's the problem with the Republicans, man. That's the whole. I think that everybody can agree. It's like it's just tribal culture, and it's not thinking like. Bruh, some of y'all are smart people. Y'all were smart people before certain people came into the party, and now it's just like, dude, like you lose all your credibility because you just following this idiot, or you following too many idiots, or y'all just making too many bogus moves. Like, come on, bro, you got to be smarter than that. You got to know better than that. We are just, regular citizens, but if we can see it, I know they can see it. You got all these experts, a whole team. You got all these people around you to help you do your job. Do your job, bro. They just got to get better. We got to get better people. And
this is both sides of the coin. I will agree with you, but but it's both sides of the coin. I think, and you may not agree with me, but you said
it ain't. AOC was rocking cool in the beginning. Now it's like, so she all right. But
you said this is what's wrong with the Republicans. I agree with you.
No. But there's some Democrats. What I don't like about Democrats is they never do nothing, bro. Do something. Like, stop making commercials and taking Aunt Mama out syrup. We don't care nothing about the food bottles and labels. Will y'all make some doggone laws? Do something, please. Y'all always get the office, you get the Senate, you get the House, and then y'all sit on y'all hands. Do something, bro. Faith without works is dead. Please do something.
I'd argue they've done a lot. I would argue they've done
a lot. But I think they
and I don't like
a lot of times they move movement that's like lateral. It's like they have to compromise so hard to get it done. To be fair, the bipartisanship usually comes when the Democrats cave when the Republicans are in order. It hardly ever comes when the Republicans cave. The Republicans are pretty stonewall when it comes to that. We got like 30 seconds. But yeah, man, I mean, but look, it's a good subject, but we're gonna be talking about it. Texas, Alabama, America, Texas. What we gonna do? We're gonna succeed, we're gonna stay here, or we're gonna keep on rocking. What we gonna do? It's been rocking red. We still rocking. We back.
Yes, sir. Always a great conversation, man. We do better when we stay away from the political stuff. So, but whatever.
It is what it is.
We're either gonna have to do a 2-hour show to actually do this, or we stay away from it. But either way, man, God bless.
Hey, y'all have a good one. Be blessed.
Is that it? Hey, guess what?
I go with my eye. It smell like trouble.